Hey Rockers fans, sitting to my left right now is one of our core catchers, Brian Parreira. He's been with us the last couple seasons and I wanted you all to get to know him just a little bit behind the scenes. Before we get into where he grew up, what's on his music playlist, and so much more, we have to talk about the fact that your nickname, we heard through the grapevine, is Donut Man. Can we discuss that just a tad?
So last year we had a little bit of a rut, and as a team we weren't really swinging it too well, and I kind of have a superstition of if I do something one day and I have success that day, I repeat that same thing the next day, and that day I happened to have a donut a couple years ago and tried it again last year and started getting donuts for the guys that needed some hits, and then turned into I was buying donuts for the whole entire team, and guys started calling me the Donut Man around the locker room and whatnot.
So we have some lucky donuts over here. What are some of your favorite flavors, or what are some of the players' favorite flavors?
For the most part, for the team, I get just like an assorted bunch, but a few guys, some of our coaches like maple donuts and cream horns and Boston creams and things like that. For me, it's a Bavarian cream Long John, chocolate Long John is the donut that I'll generally get. If not that, I'll switch over to apple fritter. Granny's has some really good donuts over there.
Sounds delicious. We might have to go check out some of those donuts. We also love Pop's Mini Donuts as well. Let's discuss your music playlist. What type of artists do you enjoy listening to, whether you're warming up or in your car, maybe getting ready to go on a date with your girl?
I listen to a lot of reggae. Spent the last 3 years down in Florida during the off seasons, and started listening to reggae back in probably 18 or something like that. So I listen to The Green, reggae artist that I really like. Honestly, I kind of listen to that music all the time, no matter what I'm doing. I mean, if I'm working out or something like that, maybe not, but day to day, if I'm driving in the car, if I'm at the field, I'm listening to reggae music.
What's your current walk-up song and why? Is it a reggae song currently?
It is a reggae song. It's called Utu Bang Bang. It's by an artist out in Hawaii. I will butcher his name. I don't know how to pronounce his name correctly. My roommates back in 18 both were from Hawaii, and they kind of introduced me to him and started listening to him. And he was actually my walkout back in 18 when I played there, so thought I would bring it back.
So Rockers fans, you heard it here first. Reggae music is on Brian's playlist. I know a lot of you wanted to know what some of our Rockers players listen to. What is that feeling like after getting a home run?
There's not another feeling like it. You hit a ball that you know you got, especially if it's in a big time situation, knowing that you're helping out the team. I mean, my main focus as a catcher is being with the pitchers and controlling the field on the defensive side, and not necessarily worrying as much about my hitting, but when you come through with a big hit like that, there's no better feeling than that.
I wanted to ask you this question because last year Bo Taylor was with us and he answered it in an interesting way. So coming from a catcher's position, kind of knowing how pitchers throw and how the ball might look out of their hand, do you think catchers and even yourself, do you have more of an advantage over a position player?
Yes and no. I think as far as knowing the zone with the umpire, I think that's a big part of it because you're behind home plate working with the umpire all game, so you may be able to recognize pitches that are out of the zone a little bit easier than some position players that aren't back there. At the end of the day, hitting's still hard, still very difficult to have success all the time, so finding a way to separate the defensive side and then turning on the switch to go hit is sometimes a difficult thing to do, but do your best to do that.
We're going to switch into, where did you grow up?
Grew up all over, military family. My dad's a retired Navy captain, so I moved around my whole entire life, but mainly once he retired, we stayed in Annapolis, Maryland. That's where I spent the majority of my time north there.
And any childhood memories that you could share with us? And I heard you have some siblings as well, so let's discuss that.
Childhood memories, I mean, probably the moving around part. I think that kind of played a part of who I am today, of being able to go into a locker room and meet a whole new batch of guys and coaches and everything, and finding a way to blend and mix in with that group. I mean, I've been having to meet people my entire life and kind of get out of my comfort zone to meet new people and whatnot, but I think my siblings definitely helped a part of that, kind of get me out of my shell and whatnot. They're both much older. My sister's 10 years older, Kristen, and my brother Jimmy is 7 years older than me. And my brother played high school baseball and college sports and whatnot, so he kind of showed me how to be a leader and whatnot.
Heard one of your siblings is involved in spices somehow.
Yeah, my brother Jimmy, he's retired, or not retired, but he's in the reserves now for the Navy. He's an F-18 pilot. And he started getting into cooking, started smoking meats on his Traeger grill, and started playing around with rubs and spices with that. And I believe that the story behind it is, it's called Hangar Base Spice Company. And I believe their original spice right now, the Wingman, is all-purpose, and they created that on an aircraft carrier. Not eating probably the best food out there, and they found a way to mix up some spices and of what they had on the ship, and they literally put it on everything, and now that's their main spice right now they're putting out. And they just opened up or started their company a couple weeks ago, so exciting to see what he does with that.
And speaking of your family and going home and the spices, are there any particular dishes that either your girlfriend enjoys making for you or your family when you go back to visit?
My mom knows that I love lasagna, so she'll make that for me. But if I go home, the only thing that I want is to have a crab fest in the backyard. It's either catch the crabs yourself or find a place to go get crabs and then bring them back, steam them at our place, and cover the table with crabs, corn, all the sides you can think of, and enjoy the time together.
Let's switch on over and talk a little bit about baseball as we start to wrap up this interview. I want to thank you for joining me here today. What other sports did you play as a kid other than baseball, or did you strictly just play baseball?
Growing up, my dad made sure that I was playing multiple sports. I played football, basketball. Never played lacrosse, never a big lacrosse fan. That's all anybody cares about where I live in Annapolis. I played one season of soccer maybe. It was not for me, a little bit too much running. I definitely liked basketball the most outside of baseball.
So why did you end up choosing baseball over basketball?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I wasn't athletic enough to play the other sports. I mean, we were in 8th grade and guys were dunking the basketball over me, so started to realize that maybe this wasn't the sport for me. And I knew my dad played college and professional baseball and was raised around coaches that kind of taught me the ways throughout my early career in baseball, and I bought into that and just wanted to run with it.
Most rewarding aspect about being a catcher, and on the flip side, what's the most challenging aspect about being a catcher?
Getting on the same page with the pitchers, is definitely rewarding. Find that groove, and the game is just moving along and you're able to keep hitters off balance, and whether it's strikeouts or just ground ball after ground ball, being able to be on the same page as a pitcher and get through a game defensively keeps the momentum going. Definitely the most rewarding was being a part of a no-hitter. The definition of being on the same page as your pitching staff, and especially being able to do it with multiple pitchers throughout a game is a lot of fun. Speaking
of having that success, any advice to kids that are currently listening or watching, or maybe for the adult Rockers fans that might be parents tuning in right now, what advice would you give to them if their kid is looking into playing at the collegiate level, going pro, maybe playing for a team like the High Point Rockers or making it to the MLB one day?
As a kid, go have fun. There's, especially in this day and age, they see all these guys going to scout tournaments and spending all this money going everywhere to get in front of people when they're 12 years old. At that age, I believe it's important to go have fun and find the love of the game first. And then once they are able to kind of hone in their skills and say that they want to go on with this game, that as they progress, put yourself around the right people. With the internet now, everybody's looking on YouTube, learning things that may not be the best thing for them, and trying to find the way that you're able to have success for you and not necessarily for anybody else. Just finding a way to get your work done and keep going there and get in front of the right people.
Some great advice. Ultimate goal currently with the High Point Rockers, and what is a few of your top memories playing here the last couple seasons?
As a team?
You can talk about both if you so choose.
As a team is to win. That's the bottom line. I mean, I think our whole entire locker room is full of competitors. I think everybody in there wants to win. Obviously, we're all here to get to the next level and get our contract purchased, whether it's overseas or back to affiliated baseball to make it back up to the big leagues for some of these guys. That's the goal, but at the end of the day, when we're here, it's to win. What I try to do as a catcher is be a leader out there and find a way to win every single ball game that we can while we're here. And if you're winning, chances are you're playing well, and if you're playing well, then you've got a chance to get out of here. So, I mean, personally, it's obviously to get signed and to make it to affiliated ball and make it as far up as I can. But for right now, while I'm here, I'm just doing all I can to win a ball game.
Any memories that you have enjoyed thus far?
There's plenty between last year and this year. I think just being surrounded with the players in the locker room that we have, the level of experience and knowledge that's in there. I've learned a lot from both pitchers and position players. Last year being with Bo was unbelievable. Able to learn from him, and he's been up to the big leagues, played at the highest level, and he taught me a lot last year, and I've tried to kind of mirror that this year after that. But definitely last year when we won
first half championship.
The first half championship, thank you.
With the champagne.
The champagne, that was a lot of fun, and I've popped bottles before in another league that I've been in. But doing it here was very special. Doing it with the guys we had, we've all been through a lot, and having that success and the sweet taste of champagne after that was a lot of fun.
Well, Brian, I appreciate you joining me here today. Hope to have you back on here again at some point, and wishing you and the Rockers, obviously, the best of luck this 2024 season.
Awesome, thank you.